right, so I know Doug just kind of went over this, so we're here obviously to recognize both the boys and the girls golf teams. Obviously state championship back-to-back for the boys, and then we had the individual winner, Austin Hitt. Some of you probably know Austin. And then, of course, the girls winning this year. So it was pretty exciting for us to be able to do that. The idea was that we would bring Dr. Griffin here to recognize them with us, and in doing so, just because it's so rare. Lake Mary Prep got it, and of course, so did we in winning the state championships all in one area confined to Central Florida. So how cool is that? So we just thought that it would be a nice opportunity for Dr. Griffin to formally recognize him here. We know that they will do that, of course, at the board meeting sometime in December, I think in 2 weeks. I'm sure, Boyd, you have that agenda already done. And we will do it there. So, Doug, why don't you go get the teams and come up here.
And I'm not Dr. Griffin. He's in Tampa. It's like the beginning of school.
Well, heck, you can do that. Mr. Karns, do me a favor of introducing the two lovely ladies to your right.
This is my wife Heidi, and my firstborn, and only born, Marie.
Let me take this opportunity to formally recognize Dr. Blazewicz, Executive Director of High Schools. Another young man walked in, probably right underneath your nose, is Mike Godrow, Principal of Lake Brantley and a former Ram himself. And I want to welcome both of them. So let me go ahead and get started. Actually, the reason we are here today has nothing to do with golf. So with that, Boyd, I'm sorry to tell you, I have misled you.
Obviously.
Actually, a whole bunch of us have misled you. But today is a day that has been in the works for quite some time. Let me explain. When I first arrived here 6 years ago, I noticed immediately that as I walked around, there were a lot of people who were formally recognized here on campus. I couldn't help but to be proud of the history of our school. It seemed to be all around. As we sang and sing about the hallowed halls, it just resonated with me that every time we did, it was people like Don T. or Mr. Reynolds, Alan Tuttle, Scott Underwood, Raymond Gaines, and Bob Sprague. All of these legends were here kind of in my mind all around. And as I did, I just kept noticing these people and what they meant to the legend of our school. And another thing that I recognized when I went over to the auditorium was Terry Padishall and Alice Ann Nielsen and what they meant to a group of students and to the school and the community just the same. Our former band and choral directors, respectively. Again, history of those men and women who made a difference and made such a positive impression to our school, to the students that they served, to the faculty, staff they worked with and worked for and served. There were a difference made by those special individuals, and those people made such a difference in the lives of those that they worked alongside, that at some point someone made a decision to honor them. It was about 6 years ago. I was giving thought to this and talking to Doug a little bit about it, as Doug and I tend to kind of be partners in crime with a lot of things. But it was about 3 years ago, where a group of teachers, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, a group of teachers also approached me. Kim, Lisa, Luther, Steve, Ben approached me about, can we please do something for one of our own? And how appropriate was it that they had that same thought. In a school in which we pride ourselves on our history and tradition, a cornerstone of who we are as Ram Nation, we now honor one of our own. To have this rare opportunity to honor you, to thank you, Boyd, for 21 years of dedication and service to Lake Mary High School is with a great honor, great pride, and with the deepest sense of gratitude that all of us are in this room today to say thank you. We want to formally recognize you, and I just want to say personally all that you've done for me, and most importantly for our school. So I'll shut up there. I can, you know what bothers me? I can do this at graduation. I'm fine. I sweat like Elvis Presley. However, I don't get this emotional, but Boyd, it's because all of us recognize and just appreciate you and who you are as a man. So at this time, Boyd, if you'll do me a favor and come up here, Doug, join me. And then Heidi and Maria, if you guys will go over here. So at this time, we would like to recognize Boyd, you, with his very special dedication. And on the count of 3, let's go ahead and just remove this. So ladies, if you'll remove that. So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Approval of the school board of the Seminole County Public Schools, our PPSA, our SAC, our athletic boosters, that on the evening of Wednesday, December 16th, I checked your calendar, you're actually free. The whole game unto itself. It's like playing Jenga. That we honor you with this very special dedication and naming the gymnasium after you, Boyd E. Karns Jr. And we look forward to formally doing this on the evening of, once again, of December 16th. Congratulations, Boyd.
Like my pocket, my bladder's next to my eye. It's you know, this morning I was out walking the dog. Saying to myself, okay, what am I going to say on behalf of Walt Griffin about the golf team? And it's really, I'm going to say it because, to have one state champion, a lot of people don't realize, and this is about the school, it's just incredible. And Mike said it so well, it's tradition, it's history. Don Reynolds, I still call him, and Ray Gaines, called him as much as possible. Mike and I, we talk all the time, and that's kind of the, closeness of the school, and Doug. And Doug is just the glue that's kind of kept all of this going, quite honestly, for all those years. But, you go across the state, and you tell them you're the principal of Lake Mary High School, and that brings something with it. In a lot of places, to have a state champion ever, for a lot of principals, to ever have a state championship is an achievement onto itself. And here it's so much because of the community. Everything that we do together, that we are multiple state champions time and again. And because Seminole County is the district that it is, and every school is experiencing the same kind of success, I think sometimes for our students and even for our adults, we just assume that every place performs at that level. And it's not until you kind of get outside and you see that it's just not like that everywhere. And amongst this gem in this Seminole County, there's, and I know I'm supposed to be all for one-on-one, for all I'm not. Lake Mary High School sticks out. It shines, and I think it's a school to which other schools measure themselves. And I know that Mike Blazewitz, the former principal of Winter Springs High School, isn't going to necessarily believe me with that, but I don't think he would argue too hard with it either. And I love this place. And I love the people in this room. And I had a tree at one point when I was teacher of the year and named for me. And the plaque broke, but the tree grew. And I always was going to appreciate that tree when it grew into a tall tree. But now there's an auditorium on top of it. I have to tell you, I have never been more touched by anything in my professional career than this. And to have my name anywhere in this building or in any manner associated with it is something that I always treasure and realize how fortunate I am to have been selected to be a teacher here at Lake Mary High School. I was in St. Augustine. I would taught 2 years at Apopka Middle School, and I applied for a job here. I actually accepted a job at Maitland Middle School. This was in 1988. I accepted a job at Maitland Middle School and had applied for a job at Lake Mary High School. And I was in St. Augustine for a few days. And Don Smith, who was assistant principal at that time, called and left a message at my house. I got back on a Sunday afternoon, and he left a second message and said if I didn't contact him by Monday at 8 in the morning, they were going to not consider me for the position. So I contacted him at 7:30 on Monday morning, came in and got an interview and was offered a job as a social studies teacher. And I was so fortunate to spend my career as a teacher and as a dean, assistant principal. And I think, as much as I love the job I have now, there'll never be a job that I ever had that was greater than the job of being the principal of this school. And the reason for that is for the people sitting in here, kids, Lewis, Booster Club, you know, all of those things, they come together. And there's only a couple of us that can describe that feeling of seeing it all come together. I know, Mike, you feel the same way. There is no greater feeling in the world than to be able to see the young people we have come in, be taught by the most talented people in the world, and achieve great things. And to this day, I have kids come back. They're not kids, they're adults with kids. And they're so successful. And you just think, if I had a little piece to play in any of that, then my life is good. And my life is great. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it, Doug, Mike. There just aren't the words. I don't have the words. Thank
Our hearts are filled with such great pride. Friendships we form that shall abide. Fond memories will flood our minds of this our very special time. Though we must leave these hallowed halls someday, part of our hearts will always stay. Lake Mary High, we're proud of you. We will be loyal and true.